Hello, everyone. What's up? What's up? I know it's late, but I decided to go ahead and go on anyway. Yes, I have StreamYard. It is back. Thanks to my contributors. Yes, I know it's late, but I decided to go ahead with it anyway. Here's your intro.
Dance. You can see that look in my eye. Ain't gonna stop anytime soon. Run up while I cry. Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. Oh, I know, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome. I have to say this, and I was just going to power through the intro and greeting and not really dive deep into anything. But I was like, you know what? No. And I was going to curse and all that and lazily put politics and world news in there. But I was like, no, I can't do that. I have to do what I'm known to do, which is deep diving and breaking down news, myth, etc. So you, my viewers, can understand what I'm saying. I primarily did that because I wasn't getting paid to deep dive into messy politics, and I'm still not getting paid. Hey, how you doing? Thanks, welcome. You're late. It's only 7 here, but I can imagine what time is there. Yeah, so I was definitely going to lazily put this together and not deep dive into breaking the news and myths and etc. So you viewers can understand what I'm saying. I primarily did that because I was getting paid to deep dive into messy politics, but I can't let my reputation become ruined because of my laziness and because someone will continuously sabotage me because I may have said a video or said some things they didn't like or made a video years ago and they just still haven't got over it. Or it could be some personal people who have some personal grudges against me. I have no idea. I'm a really nice person, so my enemies should be less, but jealousy can make people do stupid fucking things. So anyway, so I couldn't let my reputation be preceded as someone lazily put politics. And if I want to continuously talk about politics, I have to deliver it the right way. So I'm gonna start delivering it the right way, even if I'm not getting paid for it. And trust me, it's a long story. Anyway, so with that said, today I debunk and gutted all MAGA lies. I have had it. I've had it. I have to tell you, I have that and a whole lot more coming. Here's your warnings.
Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy.
Okay, now here's the intro here. Oh yeah, fantastic. I know I like it too. Trust me, excuse me, I'm sorry. I mean hit the microphone. Oh, we are definitely diving deep into some stuff. I'm going to debunk Michael Jackson's fame so people will really know why he's so famous and why people are still like, oh my, enamored by him, even though he is a genius and he has a long history with this life and everything he has done in terms of his sacrifices and his stories just make you love him and feel empathize and sympathize and relate more and more. And we should do that. We should definitely do that. But there are some things about Michael Jackson that we should really talk about. You know, his changing his face every 5 seconds, although that's like psychological damage, yeah, and mental, you know, um, things there. Okay. You say you think it's, I know AI is amazing, right? I know. But there's definitely some mental, conflicts that he has going on. And there's a lot of other things he did that we overlooked as well. I mean, aside from the fact that he kept doing the same old dances over and over and over again, but that's neither here nor there. He was still a very, very talented man. He was a genius of what he did. I'm a huge fan. But we're gonna still debunk why people are so enamored by him, despite all the other celebrities that are just as talented. Probably because he's the genuinely nicest one, and we hear about the other legends and they have really horrific, dark stories. So that's probably what it is. But we're also gonna dive deep into some politics as well and things that we really should talk about seriously. So let's go dig into that. Okay. Oh yeah, me too. Okay, first thing is first. Apparently, the GOP should have made all caps, but you guys get the gist. The GOP offers $1 billion for White House security. Okay, sparkling dispute over borrow because they just asking for more money. They just think money grows on trees, and we all should just bow down to him. Well, not him, but them, and just be like, suck it up or whatever. This is what the GOP is literally saying. I'm so sick of this whole politics thing. We can't even get a weekend off. Not even a week off or just no politics. We don't need to hear all of this unless it affects us in terms of our safety or even financially, in terms of our health care and our paychecks. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear about any of this, unfortunately. But, Trump, he likes the reality show and he wants the camera on him all the time. Stressful it is. So Republican lawmakers are proposing to spend $1 billion on new security measures for the White House. But the plan has sparked a heated debate, mainly because part of the funding will go toward building a large ballroom inside the presidential residence. Oh, yes. So supporters say the extra security is necessary to protect the president and important guests. I guess any other places. Never mind, let me keep reading anyway. However, critics agree. Now, there's some critics agree and there's critics who don't agree. But just to sum it up, critics are arguing that including a fancy ballroom in a budget is a waste of taxpayers' money and not truly about security. I concur. The proposal has led to plenty of back and forth in Congress, with some saying it's about making the White House safer and others call it an unnecessary luxury. The final decision is still up in the air as lawmakers continue to argue over what should be included in the funding. None of this should be included in the funding. Do not fund. He don't need $1 billion for a ballroom. I can guarantee you Trump do not. I don't know what his problem with his ballroom stuff. I think he's trying to mimic Putin's little castle or whatever, even the king's castle. Who the heck knows who he's trying, or who is that? Is it Epstein or something? Because Epstein has a lot of gold, garnishing and accents in his house as well. Trump is just trying to mimic other kings and rulers of their continents and countries. That's literally what he's doing. Okay, we do not need a ballroom. There is a somewhat kind of a entertainment room in the White House anyway. We don't need some fancy smashy. You know what? And first of all, it don't cost $1 billion to build it. Okay. We all know that he has come up and his family has come up since being in the White House. He's embezzled money. He's manipulating money. He's sending money overseas accounts. He has gotten so freaking rich since being in the White House. He should be in jail for literally treason. Don't get me started on all legal terms, guys. That's what Trump should be in jail for. I'm going to go ahead and put it on out there. Just saying. So here's what the numbers are saying. Okay. Here's what the numbers are saying for this GOP nonsense here. Okay. Okay. This man is going to drive everyone crazy. I'm going to tell you right now. So today, okay, we are not going to just go back and forth with him and all of this stuff that he's talking about right now. Okay. We are not going to do that. We're definitely not going to do that because Trump is definitely trying to garner as much money from us as possible. This is literally what he's trying to do. Okay. With that said, let's talk about the numbers, okay? Let's separate rumor from facts. Okay, so what the numbers actually say, because he's saying he need this ballroom and his numbers are great anyway. We should be happy. The economy has been better than it has ever been, and this everything will go back to roses that he is saying. This is what Trump is saying. Yeah, I know it sounds asinine and completely ridiculous, but this is what the man is saying. Just repeating what his crazy ass is saying. The man has lost his freaking mind, and we should understand that he lost his goddamn mind. Okay? Oops, I didn't put it at all. Trump has lost his mind. Let's just go ahead and put it on out there. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers he was talking about on the campaign. Okay, so today we're not doing feelings, we're not doing facts. Both Trump and Biden teams cherry pick the number. Okay, I'm going to show you what the data actually says on jobs, inflation in Iran without this campaign spin. Because we are hearing so many different stories on what the numbers actually are. No one's really given a legitimate, actual reading of the numbers. Everyone just throwing out guesses, and I'm here to just not do that anymore. So both Trump and Biden economies had strong and weak points. Well, technically, I'm talking about Trump's first term, okay, which was literally leftover legacy that Biden left over, and Trump just kind of took credit for it. You know what I mean? Obama. If I said Biden, I'm sorry. That Obama pretty much left Trump, and Trump just kind of took credit for it during his term, because we already know his first term, all he did mainly was play golf, but he did take full credibility of what Obama left. Because when Obama left, there was so many jobs that was already in the works already. Everything was pretty much going up. And man had things going up until his last day, and it was going still in proceedings and in progress long after he left. He did that on purpose because he knew what Trump was going to be doing. Okay. Trump took full credit for that. Full credit, which is why people was like, oh, let's elect him again. And then when he finally did something, now we're seeing the ramifications and outcome what Trump actually do versus what he took credit for. So, but we're talking about Trump and Biden. But I want you to keep in mind what I just said in terms of who did what during Trump's first presidency, his first term. So when I'm talking about his numbers, I want you to keep that in mind. Okay? Okay. All right. Now, so both the Trump and Biden economies had strong and weak points. The pandemic makes comparisons messy because job losses under Trump in 2020 and the rebound under Biden are put of the same shock. Because you remember during the pandemic, the beginning of Trump's first term, he was living off the precedents and the outcome of what Obama left. It was all good. People was praising him like, oh, you're doing a good job. He owned it too. Knowing he do Jack Daniels. Yes, I did it. I am good. I'm on it. It's beautiful. I'm the greatest. I'm sitting down here by God. That's literally what he said. I'm just speaking what he said. I'm telling you for real. Okay. But then when the problem actually hit and he actually had to act, you know, he can just claim he acted when he didn't. The pandemic hit. He said, insert yourself with bleach. This is just the hoax. And I do have my little, commentary and disregard and little story and conflict about the pandemic. Still do. However, I'm going to disregard that just to get through this news story. Okay? And here's what I'm going to say. The pandemic hit, Trump did nothing. There was plans that was initiated with him. I think Obama even offered some plans. He did nothing. He said it was a hoax. Who cares if people die? People just running scared because they get sick. Shoot yourself in the blood or stream. I'm just paraphrasing, with bleach. It'll work. That's what he said. And that's on record. That's what he said. He did nothing. So when Biden came in, Biden offers, I'm going ahead of myself, but there was a plan that was implemented, and then Biden had to take over when he got into the White House to fix what Trump couldn't do. Okay. So in Iran, now we're around 2020 during the pandemic. Okay. We're in that time frame. We're traveling back 6 years. So in Iran, there was a nuclear deal under Obama, which is called a JCPOA. Okay. Trump withdrew from it. Remember this nuclear thing. He keeps saying that Iran had, first of all, I'm just going to say ahead here that I'm going to say Iran, and Iran. So if I say it 3 ways, I'm actually saying it wrong. I'm just going to say it 3 ways. So whatever comes out, comes out. Okay. Now, in Iran, there was a nuclear deal under Obama, which is called JCPOA. Okay. Trump withdrew from it, and later tensions rose. But there was no verified evidence that Iran has operational nuclear weapon. It was never verified, but Obama made a deal with them anyway, just to make sure everyone was safe and everyone could just stop pointing Iran and having these nuclear weapons. They about to kill everyone. He just said, we have a nuclear deal here, or we just, work some stuff out with your sanctions. That's literally what was going on. Okay. And Obama got praised for it, because Israel did not like the fact that Obama is the one that implemented it. And Israel has a long history with Trump, not to mention the Rothschild, okay? They bailed him out financially. Matter of fact, the Rothschild, one of the bankies of the Rothschild, is on Trump's committee. Are you seeing the dots here? Israel, Rothschild, banking. The man who's on Trump's committee, one of the bankies who works for the Rothschild, had bailed him out when his casino went under. Are you seeing the connections? So he owed Israel, and because he's racist, to help with this war. They probably blackmailed him, like, we helped you when your banking went under, not to mention the other rumors, Donald Trump. You owe us. You owe us. Oh, I'll make sure everyone knows about your dark secrets. I'll make sure everyone knows about you. You either help with this war or I'm going to ruin your life. I guarantee you they came to him like that. So he was like, okay, fine, I'll help you. And that's exactly what he did. Okay. So he dismantled the deal that Obama had with Iran. So there was no nuclear threat. They weren't trying to kill us. There was no nuclear threat. That's all bullcrap. He needed a reason to start this war, and that was the reason. Iran had went on record several times saying that we was not in threatening to do anything to you guys. He's a liar. He's a liar. He's a pedophile. He's a liar. I don't know how many times I have to tell you from their own mouths that Trump is lying about this weapon and them having some kind of date where they was going to bomb us and stuff. They said they weren't in no way of doing that at all. They beef was with Israel, who beef is with every goddamn body apparently. Okay. So when any team says we fixed everything they broke, or we started X war for Y reason, that's already a red flag, because reality is more mixed. So when they're saying we fixed it because it was broke, or we started this war because of this reason, that's all lies. There was no threat. There was nothing to fix. That's a lie. Okay. And you can look this up. These are our facts. I'm giving you nothing but facts right now. Okay. And then let's talk about the jobs data, because that they've been broadcasting that lately, which is all lies. I mean, Trump's people, and it's really pathetic because the Republican Party was not known to be naive. maybe a little selfish, greedy, and just cheap as hell, and have very bougie way of politics, but they weren't ignorant and stupid, and they weren't just saying, well, you get the gist, okay? Okay, so the real jobs and data, okay? We're going to start with under Trump, pre-pandemic, okay? They created an economy that Obama left. And the economy that Obama left already had over 100,000 jobs already in play already initiated. He already did that already, but then he had thousands more that was in progress. He wanted to make sure when Trump got into office, things were still going to be planned out for the next at least 2 years. Okay, which is what every president do anyway. Then they give you a booklet, they all write a thank you letter, entry or welcome or something like that. That is literally the transition. Make sure the transition is smooth, show them the roads, yada, that. That's what Obama did, as you saw, even though Trump put up monkey pictures of him. But during that funeral, he was the only person speaking to Trump at that funeral. He was the only person that said hi to him. But he turned around behind this man back after him showing him nothing but cordial and niceness and put him in monkey memes. That's Trump. I just want to point that out. So remember, Trump in here, this time on his first term, he inherited an economy that Obama left. So think about that when I'm talking about Trump's term, okay, and his jobs data, okay? So the economy added millions of jobs, and unemployment, this is pre-pandemic Trump. The economy added millions of jobs, unemployment fell to low levels. This is the economy that Obama left Trump, because all he did was play golf during his first term most of the time. He barely did anything. And when anything happened, you seen how he happened with the pandemic, okay? So the unemployment fell to low levels, but stats show that was because of the economy Obama left, and it was on the rise before Obama left, as I stated. Then in 2020, this is when he actually had to do something. You really see how you really respond. In 2020, COVID hit, and the U.S. lost enormous numbers of jobs. And we already know how Trump handled that crisis, and it shows who really improved the job market. That really shows who really improved the job market is how he reacted to the pandemic. Okay. He didn't have a second plan. Like, okay, maybe we should convert over to maybe Zoom and people work from home. Maybe you can go through some kind of hygienic and sanitary measures to make sure people are safe. Maybe we should do something like that. Pretty much what Biden did. And there is a pandemic pamphlet and ruling and that's in the White House that you can really follow when things like this happen. But, I don't think Trump read, honestly. Okay, now we're under Biden. Okay, post-pandemic start. The economy added millions of jobs as part of the recovery from those pandemic losses. Independent analysis show very strong average monthly job gains in Biden later years. So when Biden got into the office, more jobs added. He did what I just suggested. We just do alternatives so people can still go back to work, and then jobs are added. He even went into the process of trading out lead pipes in the inner city neighborhoods, which instilled thousands of jobs for people. Did y'all know that? No, because it's not our fucking business. We like to know everything. Yes, he did that. That's why he was starting to get the roads fixed. That's why every time he turned around, he fixed it on the roads. That's still intact right now. So we might not want to broadcast that too much because, as soon as Trump hear about that, he's going to have that dismantled too. So, shh. Okay. So anyway, so that's what was going on. And then when the pandemic was over, it was kind of harder for people to transition from sitting at home in pajamas and going from your bedroom to your office. So he had to put out a message saying, look, I'm forcing people to go back to the office, goddammit. And he literally said that, like, you guys have to go to the office, making it mandatory for, people to stay at home for jobs over. I was so mad at him, man. I was like, how dare you do this? We like staying home. It's convenient. We save gas. Oh, gosh, that was kind of funny. The good days, right? The good days, right? All right, so anyone who claimed he recreated more jobs than they did without mentioning a pandemic context is cherry picking, okay? Because there's going to be some pros and cons with both pre-pandemic and then post-pandemic. You see what I'm saying here? So yes, Biden did create more jobs after jobs was lost and people had to return to work. So that was a huge spike in numbers, people returning to work because they had not been able to work during the pandemic. And then it was new jobs that were started as well. So that got added to the numbers that was lost technically, or was it just filled in numbers from people who couldn't go to work because of the pandemic? It kind of goes both ways, but Biden behind all of this craziness during this pandemic, and as he left, more jobs to get at. I do have to admit that. And I think salary was being increased in certain areas as well. Okay. Okay, so inflation. Let's talk about that. We're going to talk about Trump years. Now, pre-pandemic, inflation was relatively low and stable, primarily because Obama left it that way. And with more jobs on the rise, which is why Trump spent most of his time golfing. Okay, yeah, he did. We separating rumors from facts. Okay. Excuse me. So massive COVID stimulus and supply shocks were in talks. No action under Trump, but became in motion and delivered under Biden. So Trump talked about it just as some sales ploy. You know, he always talked like a salesman. Like, I would make sure I would do this and we will all be living happily ever after. The war is over. They call me all the time, wanting deals all the time. My phone is blowing up. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I can't sleep. I can't. Everyone wants deals. Everyone wants deals. You know, the war is over, you know. Well, you know, we got a long way for the war, but we're going to reach a deal, you know. You know, we got the Hormuz, you know, blocked and everything. We blown up everything. They have no war. They have no army. That's Trump. Contradicting himself every speech, but that's how he talks. Okay. He's just a sales guy. He just throws whatever at the wall sticks, whether it's false or not. Who cares? He doesn't care. Okay. So he was like, and when the pandemic came, he was like, well, we need some money. Can you send us a stimulus check? Can you send us some money? Sure, I send whatever. Sure. Whatever. I would definitely send it. I would do it. He didn't do it. He just talked about it. It just went from him talking about it, and that was it. Biden came in. Remember, this is the economy that he took over from Trump. Okay. So inflation spiked in 2021 and 2022 during the first year or two of Biden's term. He had to fix everything Trump did during the last 2 years when the high from Obama economy started to just pan out and mellow out before the pandemic hit. And then, you know, things just kind of got rough in that little transition there. Okay. And then the 2 years, Trump panicked and just started giving you kind of a preview how he's acting right now. Okay. Biden came in during his first 2 years and he had to fix all of that. So inflation spiked because he did nothing due to global, you know, chains issues, energy shocks, and strong demand. This is what, you know, Biden inherited during his first 2 years of his term. Later, inflation began to cool with unemployment stay low, the lowest in history. Okay, so when everything started panning out and the pandemic started fading out, people was going back to work or whatever, stores start, you know, being able to be a little bit more open and lenient and not so hygienic all the time. Unemployment, you know, became a little bit low. Inflation started to rise down a little bit because stores started making more money, so they didn't have to spike up their prices, you know. And then he started adding more job plans that he wanted, like, you know, construction workers to switch out lead pipes or whatever he was doing. The point is, he created more jobs, him and Kamala. That's what they did during the last 2 years after the pandemic died down. Okay. And he made sure those jobs were still on a rise after he left. But we know what Trump did. As soon as he got there, the first 100 days, he turned everything upside down. He got rid of everything, ordering executive orders every 3.5 seconds because he had to get at least halfway through that Project 2025 progress report mandatory, or his little boys like Israel, the Rothschild peeps, okay, and Russia peeps, and pretty much everyone else who knows the secret was going to spill his secret and ruin his life, because you better believe they have tapes. So they said, you either make this project 2025 halfway complete, or we're going to have some problems, and I guarantee I'll ruin your life. I can almost guarantee that's what his people told him. So the first 100 days, we already know what he did. He went to work. This man is guilty. He is running from his life. He is scared out of his mind. Trump is scared out of his freaking mind. Because when people find out how dark and sick he is, the people who still in his corner will no longer be in his corner. I could almost guarantee when Mike Johnson get a confirmation how sick this man is, he's supposed to be a father of kids. I guarantee he'll tell you what I guarantee he'll tell Trump where to go and where to get off at. Or he be literally going against his Christian values. Well, technically, Christian, never mind. The point of the matter is, you get what I'm saying. He's either do that or his own whatever conservative, convenient Christian values and Christian following will lynch Mike Johnson for still taking up for a pedophile, a rapist, and a killer, and a trafficker, which is why they're obsessed with immigration. That's how they traffic kids, which is why they make ICE detention camps legal, because they can rape 2-year-olds. Yeah, make it legal. He said, I don't care what they do. This is what Trump said. He don't care what they do. Do what you want. Rape, kill, who cares? I cover you. I give you all immunity when you're done. His words, not mine. That's what Trump did. But Mike Johnson is still repping for him. Makes you wonder if Mike Johnson has some rumors, like those rumors I'm hearing about him. I'm wondering if they are true, but that's a whole another story. Anyway, getting back to what I'm saying. Matter of fact, I got to go back. Let's go back. Okay, so we have inflation that was driven by global and pandemic, okay? We have inflation that was driven by global and pandemic-related factors. Not a single president flipping a switch. Oh, I don't know if Biden's going to run again, but I'm definitely going to, I agree. Inflation was driven by global and pandemic-related factors. Not a single president flipping a switch, okay? We already know that already. Iran and the nuclear deal, the JPCOA. Yeah, that stuff, yeah. Y'all know about that, right? Matter of fact, here's these, I want you guys to look at this first. Look at this first. You know what? No, I'm not done yet.
Where does the U.S. actually get?
Hold on. I have more to say. I have more to say. Okay. Oh, sorry. I love that noise. Because I love water and I love swimming. Even though I don't get to swim seriously, but I love to swim. Seriously. I barely get a chance to. When we were in the pool and stuff like that, I never swam. I just wanted to put my foot in the water or something. I never swam. And I get to the pool and all I do is just want to sit with my feet dangling in the pool. It's so stupid of me. Anyway, I'm going off to a deep end. I'm sorry, because I can feel the water around my body right now. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Beautiful. Anyway, getting back to what I'm saying. Okay, inflation was driven. Inflation was driven by global and pandemic-related factors, not a single president flipping a switch. Now, Iran and a nuclear deal, okay, JPCOA, Obama, remember, he negotiated, I'm doing a recap right here. He negotiated a JCPOA, Iran nuclear deal in 2015. Remember, 2015, he negotiated this deal. This is literally, 11 years ago, which limited Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. So it wasn't no threat when nuclear. Obama already did that, but Trump didn't want Obama's name on there. So he dismantled the start of the war and hoping that they would, agree to put it back together and just put his name on it. But Iran didn't do that. So that kind of backfired on Trump. Okay. So Trump withdrew the U.S. from the deal in 2018 and reopposed sanctions again that, Biden gave relief for, increasing tensions with Iran in hopes to put it back together with his name on it. Okay. And then Biden talked about re-entering or revising the deal, but a full return has not been achieved. The situation remains tense and complex, meaning Biden wasn't trying to hear anything that that Israel and their little issues and what the hell they had to say. He was like, I'm Biden. I'm not in it. Y'all work that crap out. U.S. and my people are not in whatever y'all got going on over there, Iran and Israel. Leave me out of it. That was Biden. I have other stuff to worry about than going at war and putting my innocent soldiers at risk for y'all issues. That was Biden. So Biden kind of just didn't really answer and just kind of gave him, the cold shoulder and ignored him, whatever. Yeah. But remember, this war in Iran have nothing to do with oil. It has nothing to do with oil, has nothing to do with gas, has nothing to do with any of that at all. And I know a lot of you already seen these videos, but I'm going to show you this video again.
Where does the U.S. actually get its oil?
Hold on, let me start it over. Sorry.
The answer might. Where does the U.S. actually get its oil? The answer might surprise you. Over half, I'm talking more than 56%, comes from Canada. Not the Middle East, not OPEC, Canada, our pipelines, our biggest supplier. Next up is Mexico at around 10%. And then all the OPEC countries combined, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Nigeria, make up only about 15% of what we import. So no, America is not dependent on any one unstable region. And here's the kicker. The U.S. is actually the #1 oil producer in the world. We produce more than we consume, but we still import certain types of crude because our refineries are built for it. We also produce about 83 billion barrels right here in proven reserves. And that doesn't even count the unproven reserves or the strategic petroleum reserves. America is not fragile. Canada is our biggest supplier, but we produce more than anyone, and the U.S. isn't running out of oil anytime soon. Don't let the headlines and gas stations scare you.
I have the weirdest nose on the freaking planet. My nose here look pointy. And then sometimes it look button. And then sometimes it look wide if I smile. I have the weirdest freaking nose ever. And to the side, it looks pointy. Like if I turn to the side, my nose looks pointy. I have the weirdest nose. It's so crazy. The weirdest goddamn nose. Anyway, but I love my nose. It's just weird. Very weird. If I get skinny, it gets really pointy. When I get big, it gets really wide, and it's like a big wide butt nose. Just so weird. Anyway, so here are the key points here. Okay, here are the key points. Because I'm going ahead and sum it up. Then we're going to get all deep into the Strait of Hormuz. You guys going to know all about it, and you're going to be very educated by the time I'm done. Okay? Okay, so we started the war because Iran nuclear weapons. Okay? That's what Trump is claiming. Now, that has been a nuclear issue going on for decades, which is why Obama implemented that deal. There's no confirmed proof, however, of Iran having operational nuclear weapons. It was literally just a rumor for like decades. Now, policy has shifted across administration, not just one. You know what I mean? So this big nuclear weapon that's going to take out continents and this catastrophicness has been going on for decades, but it has been no legitimate proof that Iran has that, or they're in a threat of doing or shooting it to the U.S. or anything for that nature, other than Israel. Okay, so sum it up. You can stay clear now. Okay, that both administration inherited and passed on problems. The pandemic, global inflation, and Iran's nuclear file did not start or end with one president, because technically Iran hasn't been a threat with us since 1979. And that's debatable, of course, if he was, or I'm going to say he, but if they were a threat then. It was Israel who wanted America to join the war with Iran, but the former president declined. This whole mess literally started because with the fake land of Israel, because it's not the real land of Israel. Oh, and Iran hasn't controlled the Strait of Hormuz until this war, FYI. You know what? Let's just dive deeper into the Strait of Hormuz. Let's just dive deeper than that. What is the Strait of Hormuz? Okay. Well, I mean, first of all, Iran has not always controlled the Strait of Hormuz. To point that out, Iran controls one side of the strait, and Oman controls the other side. So Iran controls this side, and Oman controls the other side. Okay, international law threats the strait as a shared international transit passage, not something any one country owns. So the Iran don't own it by themselves; they share with Oman. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran, north side, okay, and Oman, south side, because both country territorial waters meet in the middle, as you can see. They meet in the middle here. Oh, Iran, Oman, and you have the Arab Emirates. Okay. But they're over here. This is the transition that boats have to go through. This is, you see the line here? This is part of Oman. Technically, no one owns the water, but it is what it is. And Iran owns that part. Okay? Because both countries' territorial waters, they meet in the middle here. Neither country has full ownership or exclusive control under international law because no one owns the water. Iran controls its 12 nautical mile territorial waters on the north side. Okay. Yeah, on the north side. Oman controls 12 nautical mile territorial waters on the south side. Okay. Well, I think this is theirs and this is theirs. Whatever north and south is on this map, seriously. The center channel is governed by the International Transit Passage Rules, which is this. Many ships from all nations have the right to pass through. This has been a legal structure for decades. So technically, Iran don't own this, and neither do Oman. Okay? Iran want to likely own this parts of the water, this area kind of here, and Oman owns this. They don't have any fight ships and Israel ships, so they're blocking, Israel and Oman from getting through. Okay, can you guys hear me? I know it's skipping, sorry about that, but stay with me here. So this strait has been seriously a debate for a very long time. Now, Strait of Hormuz Sea. So it's been principled by several. The Convention of the Territorial Sea in 1958, and then the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, which is called the UNCLOS. Now, even though Iran has signed but not ratified the UNCLOS, it is still unexpected to follow the core rules because they are considered customary international law. These rules guarantee right of innocent passage, right of transit passage, but they have not been following that because Trump. So they signed a deal to just allow ships to go through since 1958, but they haven't been following it because of this war. But they still cannot legally close. They cannot legally close the strait to all traffic. So they're not. They found the way around the law that they signed, and they are letting other ships pass, other ships from other continents and countries. They just not letting the U.S. and Israel pass. So that's where the twist and the conflict is, because they just not let U.S. pass. So they're kind of following the law. This not completely. Okay. So why do people say Iran controls the strait? Because Iran has effective influence, not legal ownership. They don't own the strait. They own it with Oman. Okay. Now, recent reports shows Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is called the IRGC, uses both boats and fast boats and drones and asymmetric tactics to threaten or harass ships, especially U.S. ships. Iran has seized vessels, imposed selective restrictions, and disrupting shipping. In the current conflict, Iran has allowed passage for friendly or neutral countries while restricting others like China and Russia and places like that. Iran has even attempted to levy transit fees on ships. Like, we don't have to, you don't need to give us a fee. Just gone through. You need coffee and water. Anybody okay over there? That's what they're doing to the other ships. They're just not letting the U.S. through or Israel through. So this gives Iran practical leverage, but not legal ownership. You know what I'm saying? Because they share with Oman, and they have land that surrounded the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, so to sum it up, Iran does not own the Strait of Hormuz. Iran controls one side, Oman controls the other. Like I stated, you know what I'm saying? So Oman controls this, and Iran controls that, and they cool. They haven't had a problem to, Trump decided to jump in that war with Israel. Israel surprisingly, notice Israel surprisingly quiet, and they the one who started this whole war in the first place, and the U.S. is just taking all the heat, and Israel is quiet as hell, man. And they the one who convinced him to go in this war in the first place. Crazy as crap. So anyway, yeah. So just to say, Oman controls the other. International law guarantees global shipping the right to passage. They pass it. They're supposed to let ships go through, but they can, restrict it from other people and ships. The Iran power comes from its ability to disrupt traffic after the war with Israel and Trump, not from legal ownership. Okay? Because he's still kind of following the law. Now, this is factual, neutral, and cuts through political spin. When you see charts that start or stop at convenient dates, that's not data, that's marketing. So they say, it stopped at this date. No, it's no date literally when it stopped. They're just making up numbers to fit their, agenda or whatever. If stories needs to erase the pandemic, okay? Remember, you can't talk about job numbers without talking about the pandemic and what it inflicted. That goes with Trump, who inherited a good economy and ended it terrible during the pandemic, and Biden inherited economy after Trump left it that way, and vice versa. They both have to consider their numbers and actual data by using the pandemic, what it gained and what it didn't gain. Okay, so if the story starts or needs to erase the pandemic, global supply chains, and decades of Iran policy to make sense, it's not story, it's a script, and we're gonna have to move on from that. Okay. Now here's what's been going on with the news in China and them saying they striking stuff. I did hear about it. First of all, there's no evidence of U.S. strikes to China. No. None of the current reporting indicates the U.S. military has launched attacks against China. Articles instead describe strategic instability around Taiwan, mixed signals from the Trump administration, defense posture changes, diplomatic confusions between Washington, Taipei, and Beijing. This is no confirmation of direct U.S. military action against China. So there is no guaranteed confliction between U.S. and China. As far as I know, Trump I think he got kind of cornered to be accepted to go to China because China didn't want him in China. So they had to kind of blackmail him, corner him just so, they get what they want so he can be allowed to go to China because he has to go to China and be seen with the, the China leaders and stuff. So they had to, take away some toys, give some toys, bribe him or whatever the case may be, just to get old baby Trump to agree with China terms. Okay. So what is happening? Contradictory U.S. signals on Taiwan. A major report from the Center of American Progress says that Trump administration has sent confusing and conflicting messages about Taiwan, arming Taiwan heavily while simultaneously suggesting the U.S. may defend it. So Trump has been threatening Taiwan. So we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. If you don't do what we said, we're going to blah, blah, blah. Just literally talk about our allies like they're just a piece of crap. So this creates what we literally said, why analysts call strategic instability and situation where allies fear abandonment. Like we can't trust the U.S. anymore. Adversaries may miscalculate because, Trump is wishy-washy with his numbers and data and what's really going on with the war. The risk of accidental conflict rises with him lying and saying this place said this, I said this, they threaten this, they doing this. So they're like, okay, I hear you doing this through our ally. What the hell are you doing? Are you really doing this? What's going on here? Should we have our men come in and, do something? They're like, what are you talking about? We have not spoken to Trump. We have not came to a deal. We refuse to talk to him. Okay, so this is going on here. So you see what I'm saying? So again, there has not been no strikes. Trump lied about that. The Pentagon 2026 strategy. China is not the top priority. Again, according to the assuming Al Jazeera's reporting on the Pentagon 2026 National Defense Strategy, the Trump administration has downgraded China as top security priority, shifting focus to the Western Hemisphere. Pretty much what Russia and his peeps are telling him to do. Even though China has been a huge ally for a long time, we haven't had any problem with them, and we don't want to be enemies with people who can kill us. So if you can't beat them, make them your ally, which is what we did. But Trump got up there and being a bully and saying, either follow our way, kick our butt, kiss our ass, or we're just going to not be friends with you anymore. And that's what Trump is doing. So the U.S. has not positioned itself for a direct war with China. I just want to point that out. The administration is pushing the allies like South Korea to take on more defense responsibility. Okay, but they don't like him. The U.S. is emphasizing strength, not confrontation. That's a lie. They were emphasized. Well, okay, they are kind of doing that now. I got to admit that they are kind of doing that now. And they are issuing confrontation as well. Again, contradicts any idea of any strikes. So Trump is trying to be a bully, but he didn't attack China. He probably just said that because he just say stupid stuff, but he didn't do that. Are you getting what I'm saying? If you really attack China, we'd be seriously in big trouble right now. I guarantee you, every news team will be on China coming at us with full stories. You do not want to get on China's bad side. Russia don't want you to mess with China. You don't. Israel don't want to mess with China. You just don't want to mess with China. They live and breathe war. Their technology is 10 times better. They're living in the future, Japan and Tokyo and all the places. We're still trying to go back 60 freaking years, and they 2030 right now, or 2040. We're still stuck in some age warp, and they trying to go back 60 more years. This is where we're at. That's where they're at. Why would you want to mess with someone technology way advanced than ours? I mean, make it make sense, okay? Unbelievable, the lies, okay? So a detailed analysis from the Diplomat explains that the Trump administration 2026 national defense strategy uses denial-based defense along with the first island chain, a strategic silence on Taiwan, increased military-to-military communications with Taiwan. Okay, I'm sorry, China. This is meant to create leverage, but analysts warn it's risky because China pretty much interprets silence differently. Okay, but still, there has been no military strikes at all. To sum it up, there are no verified reports of the U.S. striking China. What analysts are reporting is strategic instability, mixed signals on Taiwan shifting defense priorities because, they don't trust Trump, and risky kind of ambiguity. The Trump administration is arming Taiwan while also downplaying China as a top threat. Now, that confusion is what experts say could lead to miscalculation. There's no evidence of any active force against China. There it is. Boom, bam, boom. Okay, now getting to the U.S. ceasefire. Okay. The U.S.-Iran is in a ceasefire. It's not over yet, as far as I know. I haven't really read the news, and I haven't saw it on the news that it was over. Multiple sources. Yeah. Now, multiple sources confirmed that the United States and Iran halted direct attacks in early April 2026, and a ceasefire has extended several times. However, the ceasefire is described as fragile and stalled because negotiations have not produced a final agreement. Okay, so important points. Direct U.S.-Iran exchanges of fire stopped on April 7 through the 8th, 2026. Now, the ceasefire has extended, but talks are stuck. Now, the Trump administration argues the ceasefire pauses the war powers deadline, but lawmakers dispute it. So there is a ceasefire, but we already know that the ceasefire always end up getting reneged because either Israel, or mainly Israel, attack first. They always attack. They never follow the ceasefire, and then Trump follows thereafter, or sometimes he attack first because he's a bully. So no one follows the ceasefire rules and guidelines. They don't care, man. Now, the Strait of Hormuz standoff continues. Now, while all this ceasefire is not going to attack each other continents and countries with innocent people, okay, the Strait of Hormuz is still at some standoff and conflict already. So even the ceasefire Iran, even with the ceasefire, Iran is still blocking and restricting shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. is maintaining a naval blockade of Iranian ports. This means that map I showed you, okay, if you go down that little passageway, the entrance way before they get to the Strait of Hormuz, the blockade, that is where Trump has put our ships to block any ships from going through, which is creating high gas prices all over the world and pissing off our allies. They all want his head on a stick, literally. And they're waiting for our Congress, our Senate, our people in power in the government to impeach him. But the way they're seriously gerrymandering and trying to, rearrange the House of Congress and the seats and stuff, and messing with the Voting Act and all this other stuff, trying to prevent colored, black people, melanated people from voting, cheating and stuff before the midterms hit. We gotta hope that this get blocked or reversed by November, or I can guarantee you we're gonna be a World War III, because the allies is gonna come for Trump's next and our innocent soldiers. I can guarantee that. They're not doing anything now because they're hoping we get this sucker out of the office or he die or something. But if they don't do something, we are all dead. Oh yeah, bombs of fire. It's not going to be bombs of fire from fake freaking meteor whatever coming down, or whatever the hell, stars falling down. No, it's going to be from bombs falling down. That's what the heck it's going to be, because they pissed an allies off and they've been trying to be patient, trying to keep the peace until we get rid of this man, or they will get rid of him. Make it happen. Okay? So Strait of Hormuz is being blocked because Trump is blocking it. I showed you what a strait is. Y'all need a picture? I'll give you a picture. I'll tell you exactly what he's blocking. Okay. I'll tell you exactly what he's blocking, how he's blocking it. Okay. You see this right here? Trump is blocking it right here. This is where he's blocking it. They have a blockade right here, and Trump is blocking any ships from going through. That's where he's blocking it at, right here. He's making sure no ships go through, and that's the issue. So he's pissing off Oman, Iran, and all the other people who have to go through here. This is what they're doing. This is Israel, and they trying to take over all this. How can a small little continent or country, where the hell it is, be so powerful? Because they have billionaires like the Rothschild funding them, and the U.S. funding them too, by the way. I just want to point that out. A deal that's got implemented in 1945 when the Rothschild helped them get into office, but that's a whole nother subject. Anyway, so he's blocking here, making sure no one goes through. That's what a blockade is. Okay. So what happened before the ceasefire? Well, verified reporting shows that the war escalated dramatically early in 2026. On February 28, 2026, the U.S. and Israel launched major strikes on Iran, hitting multiple cities or sites across the country. These strikes killed several top Iranian leaders, including Iran's supreme leader and the IRGC commander. Iran retaliated with missiles and drones targeting Israel and the U.S. bases across the Gulf region. So all of our U.S. base that's around the Gulf, they blew it all down, and that's been there for I don't know how long. So we got to rebuild that now because Trump started this stupid, and innocent people did get killed. This was the peak of conflict. Yeah. Now, the current military activity is low but tense. According to recent analysts, no active U.S.-Iran exchanges of fire since early April, just April. The ceasefire extended, but negotiations are stalled because they don't want to have no negotiation with Trump. Both sides continue threats, posturing, and blockades. The blockades I told you. Analysts warn the situation is unstable and could pretty much reunite. Okay. Let me go back. Okay, so here's the regional situation here. It's kind of mixed. Israel and Lebanon have extended their own ceasefire for 3 weeks. Pakistan has emerged as an unexpected mediator. They caught in the middle. The U.S. is supporting shipping protection missions in the Gulf, claiming to be helping our allies, but he's claimed to help our allies, been on turn on national television, dissing our allies. So he just going back and forth. You talking about him, and then you're helping them pick a side. To sum it up, the war is not over, but the fighting has paused. The U.S. and Iran have been in fragile ceasefire since early April. There are no active exchanges of fire, but the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked by Iran, and the U.S. is enforcing naval blockade, where I told you negotiations are stalled because Trump don't want to negotiate. Remember, negotiators got to give and take. He's not trying to give and take. He just want to take. He don't want to give anything. You can't negotiate with an idiot. I'm sorry. So an analyst has warned a situation that could flare up again. So the status is ceasefire, not peace. Let's move on and lighten the situation with some Lego news. Oh, but I'm sorry. We'll do the Lego news in a minute. I just need to say these quick headlines and we'll do the Lego news, I promise, okay? Okay, Republicans unveiled a proposed congressional map. Remember I told you about that? So here's the new congressional map right here. Republican lawmakers have released a new proposed congressional map that would split up the cities of Memphis, Tennessee into several different districts. Supporters of the plan argue that it's about ensuring the representation of fair representation and balancing political interests across the state. However, critics say the move is a clear case of gerrymandering designed to weaken the voting power of Memphis residents, which is what they are, particularly Black voters, by dividing their communities and making it harder for them to influence elections outcomes. Now, the proposed map has already sparked strong reactions, with opponents warning that they could reduce the city's voice in Congress and hurt the principle of fair representation. The debate is likely to continue as the plan makes its way through the approval process. It better not get approved because this is barbaric and it's taking us back 60 years. And they're trying to fix the election so they won't get voted. So it will be literally up to our Caucasian beauties to make a fool out of them. Like, y'all may block the Black voters, but we're not voting for you. So we got to hope they, don't vote. So we have this. This is the districting, how they're planning on doing it. This is how they're doing it right now. This is sad. Very sad. Unbelievable. This is so divided. We're not united anymore. They try to divide us, man. We are pathetic. The U.S. is sad and pathetic. All right, Iran reviewing U.S. proposal to end war. Iran has announced that it wants to reach a comprehensive agreement with the United States to resolve their ongoing disputes. Iranian officials say they're open to broad negotiations covering a range of issues, not just nuclear matters, in hopes of easing tensions and improving relations. The move comes after months of conflict, a diplomatic strain between the two countries, with both sides signaling willingness, not Trump, he's just saying, but he probably changed his mind, to talk, but still facing big challenges. While the U.S. officials have not yet responded in detail, like they said, we want to reach a deal, but Trump, he don't want to do. He just want them to just do what he say. He don't want to compromise. He just want them to do what he say. Not happening. So the announcement is being seen as a positive step toward possible peace talks and more stable relationship. The world is watching closely to see if these new talks will lead to real progress, because they are watching and making sure this get resolved so we can get back to, resolving a lot of this tension, or just get rid of Trump. They want Trump gone. So federal judge unseals alleged Epstein suicide note. Did you know that? So a federal judge has released a note that was allegedly written by Jeffrey Epstein before his death, which is now tied to the trial of his former cellmate, Nicholas Targeline. The note, made public during the court proceedings in New York, is being examined for clues about Epstein's final days and whether anyone else was involved or aware of his mental state. Now, Targeline, I'm assuming Targeline, Gillion, or how you pronounce his name, I don't really know, I'm going to be real with you. I'm just going to say Nicholas, is facing his own legal troubles, and the release of this note has sparked new questions and speculation about what really happened in Epstein jail cell. Now, the judge's decision to share the note with the public highlights ongoing efforts to bring more transparency to the case. But for now, the full truth behind Epstein's death remains a mystery. Here's what the note said. It says, they investigated me for months, found nothing. Reads the note. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? Bust out crying? No fun, not worth it. They claim it's a suicide note, but it sounds like to me he's saying, I'm not going to be crying. I am not saying goodbye. He's trying to choose my goodbye, and it's not happening. This doesn't sound like a suicide note. It sounds like a man say, I don't care what y'all do. I am not doing what you want me to do. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, let us lighten up the situation with some Lego news.
You post a chart, call it victory at the top, but we see the red candles, we know they won't stop. One post on X, you're playing God with the rate, while the working man's dinner is a subsidized plate. You talk about peace, but you're hunting for oil, leaving the Middle East to simmer and boil. You say the dollar's king, but you're selling the crown just to buy a few points before the house burns down. Fake pump, fake dumb, fake art of the deal. You're a magician to death, nothing you touch is real. Fake bull, fake bear, fake America first. You're filling your cup while we're dying of thirst. Tehran is watching your satellites in the sky. You claim a ceasefire, but the missiles still fly. You want to open the strait just to collect a toll, but you lost the keys and you're losing control. A trade war here, a terror threat there, just to see the S&P gasping for air so your buddies can come. The strait's still a mess. The ports are all jammed while you're live streaming. How the world should be damned. You're trading lives for barrels, trading blood for the Dow. Tell me who's the traitor and the loser now? Fake wall, fake fall, fake trust me, I know. Your ego's the only thing you manage to grow. You hit the send button and the billions evaporate. Then you blame the deep state for your self-made fate. You ain't the savior, you're a glitch in the code. A heavy set load on a crumbling road. Your loyalty's a lease that expires in a week. You're bold on the screen, but your balance is weak. So take your gold pen and sign your own ghost. You're the captain of a ship that's stuck at the coast. Hormuz is closed and your greatness is gray. Nobody's clapping as you're fading away. Fake titan, fake lion, fake legend of the game. Even the history books are blushing at your name. Happy Friday. Keep the change.
Let me tell you, this is a disaster. We will build a wall. It will be tremendous.
Love go world, but the fear too real. Tiny bricks, but the pressure you feel. Suit with a flag standing tall at the stand. Power in their hands, got the world in command. A red tie shining like a warning sign. Every word hit hard like a frontline line. Maps on the screen, yeah, the danger unfold. Truth getting leaked, but the story half told. Ships in the water, yeah, they stuck in place. 20,000 souls in a high stakes race. Souls in the sky, got the shadows on lock. One wrong move and it's ticking that clock. Bricks falling down, but the fire go up. Lego war scene, but but it's real enough. Flags on the chest, yeah, we reppin' that side. Truth getting leaked, nowhere left to hide. Boom, boom, hear the plastic explode. Every little piece got a story untold. This ain't a game, this a global alert. Legal world burning while the leaders convert. Desert heat with the tanks on roll. Uniform clean but the heart turned cold. Patch on the arm with the flag stitched tight. Marching in shadows getting ready to fight. War room glow with the red lights flash. One button press and it's turning to ash. Voices getting loud but the truth stay low. What they don't show is what you should know. Jet in the sky with a lock on tone. Pilot steady but he feel alone. Orders coming in, no time to think. One small move and the world on brink. Bricks falling down, but the fire go up. Legal war scene, but it's real enough. Flags on the chest, yeah, we reppin' that side. Truth getting leaked, nowhere left to hide. Boom, boom, hear the plastic explode. Every little piece got a story untold. This ain't a game, this a global alert. Legal world burning while the leaders convert. In a broken street, dust in the air, feel the silent heat. Plastic tears, but the pain too deep. World wide awake, but nobody sleep. Bricks falling down, but the fire go up. Lego war scene, but it's real enough. Tonight's on the chest, yeah, we reppin' that side. Truth getting leaked, nowhere left to hide. Boom, boom. Hear the plastic explode. Every little piece got a story untold. This ain't a game, this a global alert. Lego world burning while the leaders convert. It was never just bricks. It was always same chain, different flags, same pain. Same chain, different war, same rain. Same chain, baby. You train, same chain. Wake up, break the chain. CNN just told the world your latest little scheme. Project Freedom sounds heroic, but it's just a dream. You raise a group, said the markets don't believe a word. Oil is climbing, tankers frozen, and your plan is absurd. You promised we would escort them and guide them through the gate, but Iran said not a vessel passing ain't that great. The shipping companies are scared of rockets every night. Maybe September Dolly, that's not winning, that's supply. For 48 a gallon, that is the national stain. California paying 6 and change a bullet in the brain. You told your people cheap gas, now their wallets whistle dry. While you dance inside your barroom, waving to the sky. Same chain, different flags, same pain. Same chain, different war, same rain. Same chain, all as you train. Same chain, wake up, break the chain. Your debt just hit 39 trillion, a mountain with no peak. Interest payments every 6 months and your future's looking bleak. More than defense, more than education, this sick math game. Pentagon signed 8 billion more for arms, the same old shame. 100,000 tons of bombs that keep the money flowing. APEC dropped 100 million, the death machine is so 22 million in the primary to silence anyone who speaks. Democracy is just a lobby with those bony cheeks. Your young people are watching and they say the war is wrong. 61% say the attack was a sinful song. You think you're winning, Donnie, but you're winning the race to write your own poll. Show your approval, sing sinking in a boiling pot. We see you at the pump, putting 20 in half a tank. We see your kids eating cereal on the riverbank. We see a veteran on the corner holding cardboard signs. We see a teacher buying pencils with the last of dimes. We are not your enemy, America, your enemy wears a suit. Sits in Tel Aviv bunkers with a cigar in the loot. Pulls the strings on Donnie's fingers, makes him dance and shoot. Why you pay the price in blood and gas, that is the truth. We could have closed the Strait of Hormuz, made your whole world shake, but we didn't, cause hungry mothers are the same by any lake. The child cries in Ohio, my child cries in tearing streets. Same empty plate, same broken future, same better beat. You think we hate you? Nah, we hate the same creature. The one who profits when we fight and feeds on every feature of your fear and my anger, of the border that they drew to keep us killing each other while the rich fly through. Same shame, same shame. A different flag, same pain. Same shame, same shame. Different war, same race. Same shame, same shame. Baby, pulls your train. Same shame, same shame. Wake up, break, break, break the chain. One day, Donnie will be gone, baby will be gone. The lobby will find a new puppet, but the people standing, tired but standing. Same shame, not for long.
That last one was straight fire. I do agree with you. That was straight fire. I was like, oh my goodness, that was nice. Okay, we know we have to do that transition to cool things off a little bit. Yeah. Woo! Okay, now let's talk about, and we're gonna wrap this up seriously. Let's talk about Michael Jackson's success. I'm gonna try to end this live show in about 20 minutes. I'll get you guys out of here by like 1:40. Here's the transition for Brain Food. Okay, here we go. Now, you said, but what of them saying, but what of all them was saying is true, but it's so sad. I know it is very. So here's something I should know about the Michael Jackson effect here. It's something y'all should know about the Michael Jackson effect, okay? Now, everyone knows Michael Jackson was a Virgo. But what most of you should know and should realize is that his chart carries major Leo. And you know, Michael Jackson astrology chart carries major Leo energy. And once you see it, everything about his life, his fame, even his downfall, it makes sense. Leos attract the spotlight. Leos love the spotlight. Some of them don't really love it, but when they see it and it comes to them, they know how to work it. If you need an example of a true Leo who loves the spotlight, Michael Jackson. If you need someone who is a Leo, like their moon, their sun is a Leo, look at Jennifer Lopez. Or this Meghan Markle. She know how to work the limelight. She know the camera angle. She know they're there. She knows she got to be on point because people are always trying to look for the angle, trying to see her look ugly. I'd be doing the same thing she's doing. The camera's following me around. Make sure my hair is on point. Make sure I'm talking on point. Make sure I'm not looking stupid. Because they'll find some way to debunk, control me about that. Leo energies. Angela Bassett is a Leo. Leo energies. Michael Jackson astrology chart is filled with Leo energies. And Scorpio. Leo. That's why. It was pretty crazy. It was, oh my gosh, it was so crazy, I know. Sorry about the intro. When I went back to the stream labs or whatever, the mod got reenacted. I'm gonna try to go back and forth with the stream labs in this, be honest. I'll do that later. Anyway, so here's what I got to say here. Okay. So again, once you see it, once you know that his chart was filled with Leo energy, everything, I got to say this again, everything about his life, his fame, and even his downfall makes perfect sense now. You see, Virgo made him precise with detail. Virgos are strategically precise with detail. Beyonce is a Virgo. Everything has to be in order. Everything has to be in detail. Pisces made him mythical because he was a Pisces in a Pisces age, so that made him majestic. That made him looked upon as a god. But Leo made him a king because he knew how to work the spotlight when it was there. Trump is a rising Leo, but we're gonna talk about him later. Michael Jackson literally knew that cameras was all over him, which he knew since he was a kid. And he liked the cameras. He probably, he had a love and hate relationship with the cameras. Doesn't mean he wasn't going to work it when the cameras are there. Hence his Super Bowl performance, his real flashy outfits, how plenty of people say behind the scenes and, during rehearsals, you can see how tired he is. You can see his age. You can see how fame and everything is taking a toll on him. And they said he be looking really frail. He be this, he be that, he be this, he be that. And you can see it. But they said something happens when he get on stage. When the spotlight hits and the crowd is out there, when he's on stage in general, it's like a switch. That's the Leo energy. The Leo energy kicks because they could, the spotlight, I'm telling you, that spotlight on them, they're there. They're there. I'm a Leo rising. That spotlight is like, I'm there. I'm in the zone. He has several Leo energies in his entire freaking astrology chart. I was so blown away. So that's what made him a king. But before I get deep into that, let me first explain the effect of the eclipse transition of this age of Aquarius / Leo, Taurus and Scorpio, because we're in the age of Aquarius, Leo, which is the top tier, because Aquarius and Leo are opposite one another, and Taurus and Scorpio, which is opposite of one another, from the past age of Pisces / Virgo, which is opposite of one another, and Gemini and Sagittarius, which is opposite of one another. So we're passing the Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius age. These ages are old or new, reveal truths and the effects of these famous people. Now, three main characters we're going to talk about today are Michael Jackson, Donald Trump, and Beyonce. Now, with that said, let's talk about Michael Jackson, endless success. Now, you would think because he was a Pisces, Virgo, because he was a Pisces sun, a Pisces moon, and a Virgo. I'm sorry, that's completely backwards. He was a Virgo sun and a Pisces moon and a Pisces rising. Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry about that. That's what he was. You would think, considering the Pisces age transition, his limelight should have faded off because he is unfortunately deceased. So he's not there to work hard to keep his limelight running again. But no, his astrology chart is filled with new age, like the Leo and Scorpio. So he's never dying. He's going to be pretty much admired forever in our lifetime anyway. Okay. So you see, I for the longest, I couldn't understand how Michael Jackson, among many other musical artists who were very famous and who deserved just as much limelight and who are just as talented, but their fame slowly faded away as the Pisces age faded away. But with Michael, Donald Trump, and Beyonce, theirs never died. It got heightened, some in worse ways, some in good ways, despite their weird and questionable behavior and questionable actions during the years that many of us ignored and overlooked, like Michael Jackson and Beyonce. Beyonce is half Scorpio, so anyone who changed their looks and is a drop of a hat, she would be a pro at. Scorpios are good at transforming themselves into different things. I mean, look at Diddy. He changed his name every 3.5 seconds. Okay, he can beat the hell out of Cassie, rape her, throw someone over the big bridge and shoot someone, have a security guard walk around butt-ass naked because he want to, consider himself as a drug dealer or a pimp or the king of the world or whatever the fuck you call himself. Yeah, Kiki takes over this part. Okay. Especially when I'm talking about celeb gossip that's also brain food. She's going to come in and out of here. I try to keep her level down. Okay. So that's where that's going. He was able to do that and still get on a red carpet like nothing happened, or get on elevators and get a fight with, I don't know, or her sister get in a fight with your husband and get off the elevator as nothing happened. Everybody else looking distraught and shuffle, and she's like, yeah. Those are the actions of Scorpios. They're able to turn it off and to turn it on like it's nobody business. They're able to change their look with each album or each time in their life, drastically different. Every time in their life is drastic. Those are the effects of Scorpios. So, when we're talking about these three people who was still hiding despite their weird and questionable actions during the years that many of us over the years ignored and overlooked. And why does it feel like we're going backwards in time? Despite his age being the age of Aquarius, which is of justice, authenticity, and feminism, but I have a new insight of what's happening in the midst of Michael Jackson biopic office success. You see, Michael Jackson biopic's box office success ties into this symbolic clash of ages. Pisces energy elevates legends into godlike figures. Did you know that? Because in the Pisces age, we were taught to pretty much worship mythical, not even supposed to be fictitious creatures or identities that the church made up. There was no validation that they even existed. We was taught to worship these people, these entities, these gods, you know, the unknown. Okay, that's what we were taught in the Pisces age. False hope, false praise, faith that these things are real. Okay, so the Pisces energy elevates legend to these godlike figures, while Aquarius energy exposes hidden truths, even family secrets that were once tightly guarded. So even though Michael Jackson is still being praised in the Pisces age, because we're in the Pisces age, but we're in a transition. So it's literally an eclipse at a Pisces age and an Aquarius age, but the Pisces age is slowly going into the shade, and Aquarius age is slowly moving into the limelight. But Pisces still got a little bit of essence of that spotlight in them as they pass one another. One goes into the dark and lost forever, and the other remains in the light for the next 2,000 years. Okay. So but Michael Jackson have essence of Leo, so his star is not going anywhere. But considering we are in this new age, that means hidden secrets that he did not want to be revealed are coming into the open, because that's what the Aquarius age is, authenticity. So all those secrets are going to come in the surface, whether he wanted or not. He'll get the fame, but we're going to learn the truth about some shit. Just to point that out. So what I'm describing, my truth seekers, are allegations surfacing on TikTok, alliances forming among sibling accounts, and stories spreading virally is exactly how Aquarius works. So he may be getting idolized like the Pisces age and kind of his age because he's Leo too, but he's going to be stripped bare of everything that we didn't know. We're going to learn about his truth. So you're going to see more videos about his autopsy, his secrets. Everything is going to be laid out bare. He may be idolized, but he's going to be idolized truthfully and authentically, and that includes every member of his family. So the truth that was buried are being surfaced collectively, not controlled by gatekeepers anymore. He can't hide behind people thinking he's a god and him standing on stage with his arms wide out. He enjoyed this limelight. He was literally acting like a full unadulterated, walking in so much freaking narcissism. Leo. That's who Michael Jackson was acting like. He stood on stage and had people touch him because at some point he thought he was a god. So he's not longer here, may he rest in peace. So that's not going to happen. Okay. So the truth that was buried is surfacing. There's no control by gatekeepers anymore. He can't hide behind his fame, and people think nothing ever happens in his family. Everything is just all punching dory, great, beautiful. None of that is so possible anymore. I should have said hunky-dory, but you get the gist. So his Pisces ego that he was literally living up to. Michael Jackson being praised and treated like a near divine figure. I mean, he was more famous than Jesus. His artistry worship, but the Aquarius awakening, which is family secrets, contradictions, and suppressed narratives surfacing online, amplified by collective voices rather than institutions. Take a look at this clip.
And my father would get out of bed at night with my mother, and he would get into bed with my sister.
Your mother knew?
Yes, my mother knew. She knew these things were going on. That's what hurt so badly.
Would he get into bed with you both?
Yes.
And what, would he fondle you, or?
Yes, of course.
He didn't have sex with you, though, did he?
No, that's not true. No. That never happened to me. It honestly didn't.
And you are not corroborating any of these allegations she's made about sexual abuse?
No.
Okay, here's what I got to say about this. Okay, when she claimed that, no, it's not true. I need to go back to this. And this is what bothers me here. Well, first of all, she's lying. She's definitely lying. Okay.
And my father would get out of bed at night with my mother, and he would get into bed with my sister.
Your mother knew?
Okay, this part right here. Let me just... Hold on. You see this part right here? Her eyes. Just, she's lying. She's lying. Look at her eyes say. Watch.
No, that never happened to me.
It closes. That never happened to me, and her eyes close. See? That never happened to me, honestly. When someone says that never happened to me, honestly, there is a high percentage that they're lying. Or if they're not lying, they're just not, they just don't want to talk about it. Like, I use the word honestly because I may have started lying, but then I started telling the truth in the middle of my sentence. So look, she's lying. Watch this.
And you are not corroborating any of these allegations she's made about sexual abuse?
No.
Hold up, wait. Look at her eyes. Watch this. Look. Watch when she say no. You can see the pain in her eyes. Watch.
No.
She has said in interviews
I mean, I'm sorry, she's lying. Look at that. You see this? She's lying.
You will? No.
She always closes her eyes when she say no. When someone can't keep their eyes open when they say no, it's because they don't want you to see that they're lying.
She has said in interviews that you sexually abused.
I've literally sat with a person who had just molested me and got asked by cops if he molested me, and he acted just like this. And my mom acted just like Mrs. Jackson. Literally. Just without the money situation. It was more so, oh, she's just saying this to get rid of me. She don't want me in the house anymore. That's what my dad said. But look, listen.
Her and her other sister. Is there anything you want to say about
Yeah,
this?
just like her.
Is there anything you want to say, Mrs.
Yes, I'd like to say it's not true, and I think what it is they're doing it for money.
She's lying. She's a liar. Yeah. All right, moving right along here. Okay. So this virus spread is part of the Aquarian pattern, okay? Decentralized by platforms such as TikTok, social media that bypass traditional media and let hidden stories arise. That's why it feels inevitable that these accounts would spread more widely. Aquarius energy thrives on exposure, even though people like Michael Jackson and yada 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 are still being praised and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that the Aquarius energy is still being overlooked. The Aquarius energy is still not being overlooked because the truth is surfacing on the midst of his fame. Okay, so yes, the signs we're seeing a worship along revelation that are clashing with the Pisces and Aquarius age. We're seeing worshiping, then we're seeing revelation and truths of stuff. Those are the clashes between the Pisces and Aquarius age. The box office success in the Piscean devotion, the virus secrets, or the Aquarian exposure, like they're on top of one another. We're seeing box office success because he is a Leo too, but we're also seeing Aquarian exposure of the truth, authenticity. Together, they mark and prove this transition, as you can see here. Like we're seeing them worship and praise, social media. We're seeing the truth being spread, but we also seeing the transition of the new ages. The Aquarian age is about technology. It's about innovation. It's about truth. It's about revelation. It's about the future. You see them future AI videos, that's supposed to be in Aquarian age. That's supposed to happen within the Aquarian age. Our technology is supposed to spike. Of course, we have the Pisces age so severely to the point of manipulating voting districts to keep us back thousands of years. Meanwhile, other countries and continents are in the future and they're trying to keep us back. Not happening. The transition ain't gonna happen whether they want it or not. So this is an example of that new age. Okay. Okay, here's my confession. And I know it's about 9 o'clock here. It's probably late as hell where you guys at. I'll try to keep it going because I know you guys probably gotta get up. I'm so sorry for keeping you up. Okay, here we go. My confession. You see, I'm tired, and I have to say this. I'm so tired and feeling very sad. This is a nightmare. I have to talk about Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, and all the old fogies. This is a confession I have to say. I am so tired and I'm feeling very sad. This is a nightmare we're in right now. Don't he see? I'm talking about Trump and his cronies. Don't he see the pain he's causing? Doesn't he see how depleted American influence and stance in the world is now? Things like this make me very unhappy. But it also makes me happy I'm not a Christian because most of them are on his side, hence Mike Johnson. Despite him mocking Jesus and God, they still overlook that, especially Mike Johnson, is like they're brainwashed or something. Are we in the age of Aquarius or are we set back to the age of Pisces? Sometimes I get confused. Michael Jackson, the Virgo, double Pisces, as expected, rules as still treated like a god in the Pisces age. Sorry. I'm just tired of people having to always fight, and they win. And then we get set back by racist pedos and criminals who are currently running our government at the moment. This is what I'm sick of. All right, good night. Okay. So the question about the age of Aquarius versus age of Pisces. The age of Pisces was often associated with hierarchy, illusion, hierarchy. Sorry about that. Illusion and worship of figures elevated to godlike status, which is why you connect the Michael Jackson rise treatment to the archetype. The age of Aquarius is symbolically tied to exposure, revelation, and collective awakening. It's about dismantling false narrative and authority and bringing hidden truth to the light. That's why sinkholes, buried cities, and political revelations resonate with many people now. They're part of that Aquarian pattern of surfacing what was buried. So even though it feels like we're sliding backwards, but the Aquarian archetype suggests that every setback is part of an exposure process. So even though it looks like we're getting set back, we're still getting some exposure somewhere. So the contradictions you see, leaders making faith yet being a supported system collapsing under corruption. So even though they're trying to, sabotage stuff, but, their corruption is being exposed. They're exactly the kinds of illusion Aquarius is meant to bring and break apart. So trust me, We're not alone for feeling tired, but you have to work. You have to continue connecting these patterns and exposing the truth. That's what we're supposed to do. Now, here's what I want you to say. Okay, I want all you to say, this is just a phase. Everything will work out. Make sure you say that, okay? So just remember, the Pisces age, illusion, worship, sacrifice. People elevate figures to godlike status, often overlook flaws. That's why you see Trump being praised as a Masonic figure by some Christians like Mike Johnson, and Michael Jackson still praised as a legend even after his passing. Pisces energy thrives on a devotion and this martyrdom and blind faith. The Aquarius age, exposure, awakening, and collective truth. This is the energy is breaking illusions, surfacing hidden truths, and shifting powers from individuals to communities. Sinkholes, buried cities, storms, they're symbolic of Aquarius tearing open what was buried. So the signs that we're noticing, the mass conversions, the worship of leaders, the praising of legends, are Piscean echoes still lingering. But the chaos and revelations, the exposure, the corruption, those are Aquarian forces breaking through. That's why it feels heavy. We're in a transition, not fully a Pisces, not fully into Aquarius, last gasp of the Piscean illusion. Okay? Before Aquarian awakening takes hold, think of it this way. Every time truth surfaces, whether truth, storms, scandals, or revelations, the Aquarius pushes forward. Every time blind worship surfaces, that's Pisces pulling back. The tension itself is the sign that the shift is happening. So here's a symbolic timeline here that shows how Pisces echoes and Aquarius awakens, but may unfold between now and 2030. So we can see the clash feels so heavily right now. So between now and 2030 is when everything should be full out in the open. The age of Pisces echoes, illusion worships blind faith. That's what Pisces represented, blind faith. Okay. So between 2026, strong devotion leaders, it's going to be mass conversions, worship political figures and Masonic figures, because we're going through that transition right now and they still trying to figure out who they want to praise. But 2027, cultural nostalgia, legends like Michael Jackson continue to elevate to the godlike status because he is a Leo. Religious and political movements intensify, framing leaders as chosen or divine. So they be choosing who to praise. However, at the same time, during this transition, now in 2027, storms and scandals on top of all of this. Storms and scandals will expose what was buried, both literally and symbolically. Okay? Technology and collective voices, social media, grassroots movements reveal corruption, hidden truths. So that's going to start being surfaced in social media. 2028 and 2029, communities begin shifting focus from worshiping individuals to building collective solutions. So that's going to start happening, which means worshiping, the way you worship, is going to change within the next 2 years. And in 2030, symbolic occurring tipping point, illusions collapse faster, truth and exposure, dominant cultures narrative. So in 3 years or 4 years, the whole truth will be seriously dismantled and literally collapse into non and void. So everything will be pretty much blown out there. So within the next 4 years, we're going to see storms and scandals increasing. Technology is going to go crazy, freaking crazy. It's going to go viral. It's going to be shooting up like a rocket. It's going to be new shit coming out every 5 seconds. We're going to be able to keep up. I'm going to love it, but we're not going to be able to keep up. Community is going to start shifting focus. They're going to start learning the truth about the people they're worshiping. On top of people's trying to figure out, should they go back to church? Should they continue worshiping people like Michael Jackson and Donald Trump and all these goddamn leaders and framing leaders? But at the same time, they're going to be wondering like, okay, why are we doing this? So we're going to still have it conflicted of the old age and the new age within the next 4 years. But 2030, Aquarian age will be a seriously tipping point, and that worshiping crap will be all on the open. Lies will be completely freaking exposed. Just to sum it up, right now, Pisces energy worship. This is what I should have gave you right here. Sorry, you can take a screenshot if you want. I went ahead because I was trying to go ahead here, but I already said this already. Take a screenshot if you want. Did I tell you what's going to happen within the next 4 years? Okay. Okay, so the clash here. What it means. Right now, Pisces energy worship illusion, Aquarius energy exposure awakening are colliding. That's why you see Trump elevated by fake communities while simultaneously scandal storms and global backlash exposes cracks in his system. That's the Pisces and the Aquarius age working and conflicting with one another. So what it means, the Pisces age is fading, but the echoes are loud. Worship of leaders, blind faith, nostalgia for legends. But the Aquarius age is also rising, exposing truth, collective awakening. Every storm, scandal, revelation is part of that shift. It's always going to be a scandal on top of the truth or illusion. The heaviness we all feeling is a transition itself. The old age resisting while the new age is trying to break through. You see, Michael Jackson's chart actually mirrors the Pisces transitioning to the Aquarius. That is what we're sensing. So then we have the Virgo sun. Virgo energy is analytical, detail-oriented, and perfectionist. This gives Michael Jackson his legendary precision in music and performance. Every move calculated, every note exact. He beats by like he does that a lot. You know, he just get into beats because he's very detailed. Virgo is an earth sign, grounding him in craft and discipline. And Pisces placements are deeply tied to illusion, worship, and sacrifice. His Pisces moon made him emotionally porous, absorbing collective projections, carrying the weight of other dreams. Sometimes he loved it, sometimes he didn't. His Pisces rising shaped him. It literally shaped him and how the world saw him. Mystical, otherworldly, almost divine. That's why he was treated like a god figure in the age of Pisces. He was double Pisces. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for staying. Thanks for staying. I'm almost wrapping up. I promise you. So, okay, so let me just say this. So this transition to this Aquarius. In the age of Pisces, Michael embodied the archetype, the worship figure, adored, sacrifice, and mythologized. I mean, he was literally mythologized. I can't even speak because I'm getting seriously tired. Mythologized. Okay. And as Aquarius rises, the hidden truths, family secrets, contradictions, suppressed narratives surface. His Pisces veil is being pierced by Aquarian exposure. The viral spread of family accounts and TikTok is literally Aquarian energy. It's literally the centralized truth breaking through Piscean age and illusion. So on top of him being worshipped, even though he does have Leo, the truth about his family, his autopsy, and everything is going to still come to surface, even though he's still been idolized. That's literally the transition working right there. So symbolically, Michael Jackson chart shows both sides of transitions. Virgo sun, the earthly craft that made him a legend. Pisces / moon rising, the illusion and worship that defined the age of Pisces. And his Aquarius age right now exposing hidden truths behind the legend, shifting focus from worship to collective awakening. Like, who was he really? So Michael Jackson energy here. Everyone knows Michael Jackson was a Virgo. So everyone know Michael Jackson was a Virgo. But what most people don't realize is that his chart carries major Leo energy. And once you see it, everything about his life, his fame, and even the downfall makes perfect sense now. Virgo made him precise. Pisces made him mythical, but Leo made him a king. The Leo mid-heaven, the public destiny, explains him clearly and dramatically. The mid-heaven, the MC, is the part of the chart that rules legacy, fame, public image, and destiny. Michael MC is in Leo. In many charts interpretation, Leo, the performer, the icon, the royal archetype. This is why he wasn't just famous, he was worshipped. This is why he wasn't just talented, it was mythical. This is why he wasn't just successful, he became the king of pop. Leo equals the crown, Pisces equals the myth, Virgo equals the craft. He had all three of them. This is why Leo explains his global worship. No matter what weird things he did, like he getting lighter and saying it was vitiligo and his weird face changes and shit. And the same dance move that he does over and over and over again. Oh, and the weird stuff that he did with his kids. We don't know if he had any DNA attached with his kids and why he picked the whitest mother to have a kid with, but still praising he's a black guy. I mean, he literally did a lot of red shit. Okay? So this is explaining why Leo is making him a global worship. Leo energy is radiant, magnetic, adored, unforgettable, larger than life. This is why crowd fainted. That's why the crowds is fainting. People cried in his presence. He was treated like a deity. His concert looked like religious events. His biopic is exploding at the box office. Leo is a solar archetype, the sun people orbit around. Michael embodied the fuck out of that. So the Pisces Aquarius transition. This is where it shines. The Aquarius Pisces, Michael worship like a god in the age of Aquarius hidden truth surface. Yeah, we get that. Okay. Now, moving on. Now, let's talk about its effect here. Michael Jackson wasn't just a superstar, he was an archetype. Virgo gave him the perfection. Pisces gave him the myth. But Leo gave him the crown. And now, as an Aquarius rises, the crown is being examined. So now we're examining his crown. Like, hold on, we need to look closer to this crown of his. Why is he being worshipped? Let's look at this crown closer. This is Aquarian age full fucking throttle. Oh yeah, definitely. But let's look at this crown closely. Okay, now as Aquarius rises, the crown is being examined, the myth is being questioned, and the truth is being revealed. Okay, Michael Jackson didn't just live through an era. He symbolized the shift between ages, and that's why his story still haunts us, inspires us, and resurfaces exactly when he and what he was changing and his challenges. Now, I have to break down these three people now. Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Gemini sun, Leo rising, and a Sagittarius moon. Yeah. Remember, the new age is Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus, with Taurus and Scorpio. That's the new age we're currently in right now. The passing age was Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. He was a Gemini and Sagittarius, which is why he got away with so much shit. He had two elements of the last age. Now he have the Leo part of this new age. So Pisces echo, his Leo rises, projects as larger than life. Worship worthy image, the Messiah archetype, his Gemini sun thrives, illusion, contradiction, and persuasion. Then you have the Aquarius clash. As Aquarius rises, contradictions are exposed, scandals, court cases, global backlash, or Aquarian forces sources the truth. It's surfacing all the truth. He can't get over that. Even though he's being worshipped because of the Pisces age and what he carried, truth about him still surface. So symbolic role, he embodies the last grasp of the Pisces age, worship of a flawed figure, blind faith, and spectacle, literally. And then we have Beyonce. Beyonce is a Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, and Leo. She's actually they say she's a Libra rising. I forgot what her rising is. I'm be real with you, I don't remember. But anyway, but she is half Scorpio and half Virgo. So Pisces echo, Virgo sun gives her Michael-like precision and craft. Libra rising projects harmony and beauty, feeding worship. So she incorporates her beauty and her fame into being worshipped like a goddess. So she makes sure you see all the elements of her beauty. Hence, why in her intro, she makes sure you see every element of her naked fucking body, because she won't be worshipped like a sexual god. That's the evening of the worship. Like, I want you to worship just my beauty and my talents. I want you to worship my body too. That's Libra, working full throttle. He wore Gemini. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now you're seeing it. You're seeing it. Yeah. Let's put that up there for a moment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we have Aquarius awakening. Scorpio moon connects her to hidden truth and transformation. Remember, Scorpios can transition from one character to the next. Hence, Will Smith, Diddy, Anyone who has Scorpio energy can transition from one character to the next. They are great actors and actresses. Okay. So Scorpio moon connects her to hidden truth and transformation. She channels Aquarius energy by empowering collective voices, feminism. This is why she's able to connect and copy so many people, because Scorpios are like magnets. They can copy. You study them for a while, you can just copy whatever they do. You know what I mean? And then mix that with Libra and her precision to detail Virgo. This is why her craft is so, the way it is. Okay? So she channels Aquarius energy by empowering collective voices, feminism, black pride, spirituality. She may believe it or not. We don't fucking know. But she can channel it and pretend that she does and take it all the way to the bank. So symbolic role. She bridges Pisces worship with Aquarius awakening, adored like a goddess, but also a vessel for collective empowerment. That's what she carried. So even though Beyonce is a Virgo from the old age, but she's a Scorpio for this new age, so her idly worshiping is not going away. She's going to copy someone else from this age or probably steal their energy. And then we have Michael Jackson. We already know about him. I'm not going through that anymore. Okay, so let's just break it down right here, okay? Pisces echo worship as divine illusions surrounding his life. Aquarius awakening, family secrets. Remember, Pisces echo worship as divine illusions surroundings, his life from Michael Jackson. Aquarius awakening, family secrets surfacing, viral revelations, collective truth breaking through. This is what's happening to Michael Jackson currently. But on the same time, his chart shows the transition itself, exalted still in the Pisces age as a god, but exposed for its darkness in Aquarius age. Worship, Virgo, old age. Truth, looking closer, Pisces age. This is literally what's happening to him. Literally. I know. It was Jay-Z. I know. Yep, she's been crazy by him forever, for real. So we have Trump. Remember, Trump, Pisces illusion at its peak, worship of a flawed figure, because we didn't even see his flaws because he was being worshipped in the Pisces age. We overlooked his flaws along with everybody else in that age. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson worship fading, but Aquarius exposure is rising. So we're starting to see the darkness of his life. Beyonce is a bridge worship, but also channeling Aquarian empowerment, because she is part of the old age and the new age. But she's a Scorpio, so she could just mimic people from this new age or steal the energy. And she's have Libra, so she can just balance all that shit out and make herself the way she is. One thing she has been consistent on is his hair color. So together they show the clash of ages. Pisces worship versus Aquarius awakening. And to close this out, I'm going to sum it up here. Michael Jackson, Virgo, and it's going to be a while before I probably I do a live show in a couple of days or so. I need to rest. I have a lot to do. Michael Jackson, Virgo / Pisces placements made him a perfect symbol of the Piscean age. Worship, mythologized, seriously treated as divine. But Aquarius energy is surfacing the hidden truth, family secrets, and contradictions, suppressed narratives through collective platforms like TikTok. That's why the biopic success, Pisces devotion, is happening at the same time as viral revelations expose his truth, which is Aquarius exposure. The Trump embodies the last gasp of the Piscean age, worship as a flawed figure, blind-faced spectacle. Beyonce bridges the two ages, adored like a goddess, but channeling the Aquarius empowerment and collective awakening. Michael Jackson shows the transition himself, exalted in Pisces like a god. Okay. Exposed in the Aquarius age, though. So the signs we're noticing is mass conversion, worship leaders, praise of legends, viral exposure of secrets are not random. They're a clash of the ages. Pisces is fading, Aquarius is rising, and attention is the sign the shift is real. Think of it this way. Every storm, scandal, revelation, Aquarius breaking through, every act of blind worship and Pisces holding on, the heaviness you feel and we feel is a transition itself. So even though people are worshiping, Aquarius is still coming through with that pail of water. clearing out all the bullshit so you can see the truth among the bullshit. That's what's happening. So just to sum it up, we are living in a collusion. The collusion of the ages. Pisces illusion fading, Aquarius awakening rising, legends, leaders, and icons are the mirrors. The question isn't whether the shift is happening, it's whether we're ready to see the truth when it does. And I'm out. Oh yeah, they definitely highlight. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. All right, I'm out. You guys have a wonderful night. Don't forget to like and share. I have the timestamps if I have enough energy within the hour, okay? Good night.
We see you, we see you, we remember, we remember. I am the storm, I am the storm. I am the silence, I am the silence. I am the truth unveiled, I am the truth unveiled.
Yourself, yourself.